Arsenal, Arsenal, Arsenal. I'm not sure how much more I can take of Arsenal this season and us in this title race. I mean, we have got the win. Arsenal 2, Chelsea 1. 3 points in the bag. We move. We move. Wasn't the greatest performance, but you take the 3 points. Another 3 points, another win against Chelsea, our 11 in a row. But before we get into today's game, make sure to like, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications so you know when I drop a video. But let's get into it, people. Different surroundings as well. Currently at my missus' house, and that's why I'm in a weird surroundings, so forgive me. But we beat them. We got the job done. And as I'm watching the game, I'm thinking, what are we doing? What are we doing? Because I just didn't think from minute one to the end of the game we really owned that game. I'm not sure what it is, and we'll talk about it a little bit. But let's start with the first goal and the first half. I think it was quite balanced. Both teams not really giving much away. Chelsea's keeper Robert Sanchez always has a mistake in him. Eze tried lobbing him. Gyökeres won the ball off him high. Both didn't result in a goal. But he kept giving us chances, kept giving the ball away. And that's actually how I thought our opening goal would come from a Robert Sanchez mistake. But it comes from a set piece again, Ale, set piece FC. It was a game of set pieces, to be fair. And we'll talk about Chelsea's equaliser in a bit. But great ball from Declan Rice. No, Saka, sorry. Great ball from Saka into the back stick. Gabriel heads it back to where it come from, and Saliba's there. Can't miss. Takes a little deflection of Mamadou Sarr, who made his debut for Chelsea before going in. But it was on target, so it's a Saliba goal, so that's not a problem. We take the lead. Did we deserve the lead at that point? Probably not. I think it was a 0-0 game. It was an even game. I don't think either team had done much. We were probably looking the more threatening. I think Chelsea had a shot in the 10th minute and didn't have another one in that half, actually, because their equaliser comes for an own goal. Hincapié, good set piece delivery in from Reece James. Reece James is so deadly. A lot of the discussion you get on Timber is he as good as Reece James, Trent, Hakimi, the other top right backs in the world? Timber's up there with them, but I think what Reece James has, which probably only Trent can really talk to him at this sort of game, is delivery, set piece delivery, passing ability. Hakimi's much more of a runner, a dribbler. He'll score goals. Trent and Reece James are much more. They'll assist, they'll pass, they'll create chances. Timber's a defensive rock. I think he's better than the three players are named defensively. But going forward, that's what separates the others. And Reece James showed it. Great set piece delivery. And Hincapié tried to clear it. He tried to do the right thing, but he ends up heading it into his own net, which is one of them, like, he's trying to do a good thing and it ends up going in. I'm not going to criticise Hincapié for that. He's tried to defend the set piece. He's got unlucky. It's gone in 1-0. Now, going into the break at 1-0, it's the same scoreline we went into the break against Tottenham, and it had a similar feel. You got to remember, Chelsea and Tottenham actually are in a relegation battle. I didn't really believe it until recently, but they lost again today. So they're fighting for something, but they just didn't have the quality. Chelsea are looking to get into the Champions League. Man United have kicked on, whilst Villa have dropped off. So there is an opportunity there for Chelsea that they need to take. They need to capitalise on Villa's poor form, and they can't let United go too far. However, I think United have gone too far, too much momentum, too much form, haven't got any distractions. United look dangerous. So this game meant a lot for Chelsea. And at half time, the only reason I felt different to Tottenham was because I thought not only are Chelsea a better team and got better players, but they're playing for a little bit more. It's encouraging going for a Champions League. Fighting relegation for players at Tottenham, where they're going into Tottenham thinking they're going to be fighting for Europe, team in the Champions League last 16. To psych yourself up for a relegation battle is something that takes a lot of energy and strength. And I think a lot of them Tottenham players can't quite believe the situation they're in. And that's probably why they find themselves where they are. But it's Chelsea. They've got the quality in the players to harm you. João Pedro, Caicedo, Enzo, Palmer. They're all there. They've got good players. The defence is decent. Although it's young, it is decent. And that's what they've done. Second half, they come out and they were in control of the game. And that's what I feared, is that we seen it against Liverpool in January. We've seen it against Man United, where Arsenal at home allow other teams to have hope and we let them play. And we need to stop doing that. I understand why we set up how we do, because you do concede a lot less chances. Like today, we concede one goal, it's an own goal, and it's from a set piece. So today, you can almost justify it by saying, well, look, we didn't concede a lot of clear-cut chances. Well, we did towards the end. We'll come on to that, because it all sort of fits into this, really. But yeah, Chelsea started the second half the better, And that's why it was a bit of a surprise to me when we took the lead, because we get a free kick. Timber actually wins the free kick in the second half after the 60th minute. The free kick comes to nothing, goes out for a corner. Up steps Declan Rice in the corner. And we all know Rice is class at set pieces, free kicks, corners. And he delivers the ball straight on Timber's head. Don't know what Robert Sanchez is doing. He ends up appealing for a foul. No chance is it a foul. And Timber heads it in. And that's all you need to do as an Arsenal player these days, is can you score from a set piece? If you can, you're useful. Obviously, that's tongue-in-cheek. But yeah, Timber puts the ball away. Great finish from Timber, because they're easy to miss when you're expecting it, which I think a lot of the Arsenal players are because of how well drilled they are. You know the ball's coming to you, but you have to deliver and execute, and Timber done very well. I'm very happy for you in Timber. I personally believe, I'm just checking the bench there, no Ben White on the bench, but Christian Mosquera was there. I think Timber's not as fit as he'd like to be. I think he's playing a lot more games of football than he liked to, but I think Arteta likes that from his players, and I think Timber's the sort of character that is willing to play for injuries. That's what makes him one of the top right backs. He's so robust. But all I'll say is Mikel Arteta, Christian Mosquera is on the bench, and we saw how Mosquera was against Tottenham. I think sometimes just bring Timber off and put Mosquera on. I get not wanting to change the back four too much, but after Timber scores, we're winning 2-1, and then what happens next? I think you can find space for Timber to get a little bit of rest as well, especially with the Champions League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup final coming up. I think Timber needs to be fit. We can't afford to lose him at this point. But as I say, what happens next? Neto gets sent off. Stupid yellow card for dissent, I believe. After our second goal, Neto got carded for talking too much to the ref. And then we find ourselves on the break. Martinelli down the line. Neto wipes him out, and it's a red card. He complains about it. Not really sure why he complains about it, because it's just a clear second yellow. I think it's more frustration, but they get 10 men. And then at that point, you're thinking, go on, Arsenal, get a third goal, shut the game out. That's not what we do. To be fair, it's not for a want of not trying. I don't think it's the players not trying. For some reason, I don't know if it's the fans, the club, the manager, the players, but collectively at Arsenal, there's nerves. I'm nervous. If you're watching this and you're an Arsenal fan, you're probably nervous. The crowd felt nervous. They weren't really singing until we took the lead. And I think some of the players are nervous. Just some of the things they do, like Declan Rice on the ball back, hunted down. I think it was João Pedro, I can't really remember, wins the ball. Just a nice pass back to Raya, and he boots out for a Chelsea corner. And this is all while Chelsea have 10 men. He looked like he had a dead leg. He came off for Norgard. But yeah, it's just like there's this nervousness. Even players of Declan Rice's ability. And I was going to say experience. He's experienced in terms of playing games in the Premier League, but he's not an experienced Premier League champion. And I think that's what's going to test these players and the group as a squad and the fan base, because a lot of the fan base aren't used to winning a Premier League at this time. Yes, a lot of our fan base would have seen the titles we won in the 90s and the early 2000s and even the 80s, but this is different. This is a different team. It's a different squad, different stadium. The stadium's never won a Premier League title, so it is new ground for a lot of people. We've not been here before in this situation with this manager, with the stadium. Everything's so new, and I do just hope the players fight through that, and the fans as well. I'm hopefully going to be at the Bournemouth game, but we just really need to just sing the players through it. We need to do our part. They need to do their part, because at the end of the game, it was just Chelsea peppering. They actually had the ball in the back of the net, and thankfully it was disallowed. João Pedro offside, overhead kick. Raya saved it. The rebound dropped to Delap, and he puts it away, and it's offside. Another day, it's not offside, and we let 10 men Chelsea equalise. We saw what we've done against Wolves, bottom of the league. To be fair to Wolves, they're playing without fear. They don't really fear anyone or anybody. They won, yes. They beat Aston Villa 2-0 on Friday, sorry. So that sort of says everything about the league in itself, is that there's no easy game. So you really have to go out there and go for the win. And I think resting on Leeds is dangerous. I think it's dangerous. Ironically, every score in the league today on Sunday, every home team won 2-1. So there is an irony. They say, 2-goal lead's the scariest and the worst lead, but it seemed to work 4 times today, where you win 2-1, you get your 2 goals, and that's enough. So we got the job done, but it needs to be better. I don't want to see much more games. We've got 9 games left. I don't think we can afford to see games where the team are sitting in and relying on the defence. I think we need to see more from the attack. I think we need to see more from the midfield, more initiative to grab games and kill them. Go out, kill them, win 3-4-1 or 4-0. Resting on 2-1 is dangerous. And we got lucky today. We got away with it. I think Chelsea having 10 men helped us a lot. Although we did score before they got a red card, I do think it helped us because Chelsea believed it. They believed they could get a result today, but they didn't. And that, as I said at the start of the video, is now 11 games in a row we've beaten Chelsea. That's mad. I grew up, 11 games in a row they haven't beaten us. I grew up struggling against Chelsea. Arsenal would always struggle. Drogba, Diego Costa, they would always put us to the sword, but not anymore. Not anymore. We sort of dominate that fixture. So big up the boys, big up the gaffer, because sometimes all you need to do is get the 3 points and get out of there. And that's what we've done. So our lead at the top's back to 5 points. Man City beating Leeds 1-0 away yesterday. Anton Semenyo over goal. A few controversial decisions, but when you really look at it, I think City deserve to win, so you have to take your hat off to them, and they got the job done. But yeah, 5 points, game played more. They've got a game in hand, so really, if City win that game in hand, it will be 2 points. And we have to go there. We have to go to the Etihad. Big game, big game. It's crunch time, people. I'm nervous. 9 games left, 9 games away from potentially winning our first Premier League title in 21 years. I'm confident. I'm confident the boys are going to do it. Today's not fulfilled my confidence, but it's reminded me that this team gets 3 points even when they're not at the best. And that, believe it or not, is the markings of a good team, a great team that can win even when they're not good. So let's see. Our next game is Brighton away this Wednesday, a midweek fixture. Then we go away to Mansfield in the FA Cup and then Leverkusen in the Champions League. So 3 games, 1 in the league, 1 in the FA Cup, 1 in the Champions League. And I think they're 3 games, as I say in most of my videos, you have to win. Go out and win them, build the confidence. You need everyone singing off the same hymn sheet. And I think the last 2 wins against Chelsea and Tottenham, I'm very proud of the boys because they've done it in those 2 games what I think they needed to do against Liverpool and Man United. Is beat the rivals, the people that the fans are arguing with online, in the streets, at work. Beat them, beat those big teams around you, build that momentum, because the fans will galvanise, the fans will believe, and that transmits to the players. So they've done their job, can't criticise them. Just be nice, boys, if it wasn't as nervy. That's all I ask. But yeah, that's it from me, people. Look out for the Gooner Club podcast that will drop tonight or tomorrow, most likely tomorrow morning. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in the next reaction. Until then, like, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications so you know when I drop a video. And I'll see you next time, people. Peace.